Hi friends, I hope everyone's well today. As some of you may know, back at the end of last summer, I went kayaking on the Elk River, just flat water, and we did a 2-day paddle and spent the night on the riverbank, doing a little primitive camping. That was right before I started my YouTube channel. And the second day, when we got up, we had pretty much drunk up most of the water we had. We were close to civilization, but didn't have water spigots on the riverbank. So my sister and her husband had brought along a water purification unit. Now, we still had some sodas and that sort of thing. But, you know, there's nothing that really replaces water. And we wanted to try out that water purification system. Well, I don't remember who made it, but it was a system that you kind of stuck the nozzle in the water and pulled the water up and then pumped it back out into a bottle. It was very slow and very labor intensive. Did it work? Yes, it did. And we were very glad to have that water, but it took far too long to get it done. And it was just awkward. So I have always wanted one of the life straws. They look like they would be a really handy thing to have in your backpack, in your car, wherever you might need it. And they're about $20. So I had been looking for them, but then I started seeing things about the Sawyer Mini. And I found one for about $20. It was $19.95 at Amazon. Free shipping, Prime. So I ordered one. Now, this is what you get with the Sawyer Mini. You get a water bottle that's for a squeeze filtration system. To me, squeezing seemed better being something you could stand up and do rather than bending over in a river or a creek or a puddle. So I decided I would try this. Now, it is supposedly compatible with the average water bottle like you get at the convenience store. So, and if I take the lid off of this bladder and take the lid off of a water bottle, sure enough, it fits and seems to snug up tight. Okay. And the cap off of this seems to snug up tightly on the water bottle. So you get that, and you get a straw if you want to drink right out of the river, bending over, sucking it through the water filter. You get a plunger screw-on 50 plus milliliter syringe. It's a cleaning plunger, and it's for back flushing the Sawyer Mini. And by golly, if you use the 500,000 or whatever gallons that you're supposed to be able to get out of one of these, I'd say throw it away, spend $20 more. Anyway, I'll check on that amount and put it in somewhere in the video on exactly how many gallons this system is supposed to purify. And this itself is the Mini. Okay, you see it's not terribly big. And I've read a lot of reviews on it, but you know, I read reviews and then I try it. Now, I have not tried this yet. You can see it still has a cap on the end. It's got an arrow that shows you which way the water flows. And so you would screw this end onto the bladder or water bottle or whatever that you're using for your dirty water. Alright, now a couple of things. One is that one of the beauties of this thing is that you can hook it up. There's a little kit, I think it cost about $5, that will allow you to hook this up, this Sawyer Mini, right to the just above the bite valve or somewhere in your hose to your hydration bladder to a hydration pack. I like that idea. Sometimes, if the weather's not terribly, terribly hot, I like to kayak with a hydration bladder that's a backpack. And I just kind of strap it on over my personal flotation device and go that way. Or when I'm hiking. So that's kind of attractive that this can hook right up to your hydration bladder too. And if I actually get that and try it out, I'll let you know. So we're going to give it a try. First thing I'm going to do is take this squeeze filtration filter here, and I think first time, I'm going to use this to try to filter the water. We'll see how much effort's involved. This thing can't be really big. It is 16 ounces. So here we go. We have got a pint. All right, got some water here. Gonna see how hard it is to actually pour water in it. Now, one thing, if you're up to the point where it's gotten to the point it's hard to get water through your filter because it is getting dirty or clogged, you have to make sure you save some clean water to back flush it so that you won't flush dirty water back through the filter. Either that, or you're going to have to run some water through a cloth to get the particulate out and then boil it in order to clean your filter. So that's something to keep in mind, that they do tell you in the instructions. Well, so far so good. It's easy enough to pour from this bottle, even with my shaky old hands. Fill it more or less up here. See how much it takes to filter an entire quart of water. Neither of these were completely full. As I splashed water on myself, not a surprise. Try this one. It's a little bit wider necked bottle, so we'll see how it does. Both of these bottles, of course, came to me for less than $1 from the Goodwill store. All right, that's pretty full. One thing about them having different sized necks is that I don't get the plugs mixed up. All right, now like I said, I haven't tried this yet. I've had it for several months, but my last several months have been chaotic. And then for the last couple of weeks, I've been just kind of under the weather. But here we go. Now we're going to give it a try. This end has a little gasket in it, like you'd see on a garden hose. Probably could be replaced with a gasket from a garden hose. But we know that it's a no bad dog to drink from a garden hose, don't we? Nuh-uh. Did it all my life. Not worried about the funky taste of the garden hose vinyl. Some of you may disagree with me, but hey, I'm 63. I'm not dead yet. Okay, so we've gotten that done. Now the idea at this time is to take this and squeeze the water through the filter into a bottle. Let's check it out. Well, it does stand up by itself, at least on a nice flat surface. Nice wide mouth bottle here. Let's see what happens, okay? So let's see how awkward this is going to be. So far, so good. Since I haven't actually flushed this through yet, I think what I'll do with this particular liter of water is pour it out. Then we'll try some and see how it tastes, okay? It's not hard to squeeze. I think the average person could do this. My hands are a little stronger, maybe, than the average woman. Maybe. Not sure about that. But I think the average woman would have no trouble with this. I don't think anybody'd have trouble with this. I think you could find a way to do it. I think some children could even do this. It certainly is less strenuous than what we were doing, pumping that other system. I'll find out what brand that was. I'm going to fold this kind of here to finish it off. It's flowing through really easily. Alright, now, I'm not sure how many ounces this jar is supposed to hold, but that's about half in there. Alright, I'm going to, as I said, I'm going to pour this out and we'll do it again. So, hang on a minute. I will be right back. Okay, I decided not to belabor you with watching me fill this squeeze bottle again. It does have a lid on it, so if you have to scramble down somewhere and get water, or if you fill whatever your water bottles are and want to carry more water with you, you can fill this again with dirty water, put the lid on, throw it in your pack. So you have another 16 ounces of water that you can purify when you have an opportunity. If I were going to improve this, I would probably put some kind of hanging hook on it so that it might be able to be hooked on the outside of a pack or something, or your belt, whatever, or a strap. I might do that. So I'm going to now take this and we're going to do it again, and this time we're going to drink some of the water. So alright, see if I can do this without getting completely wet here. I should have put a timer on to see just how long it takes, but I can honestly tell you that it had to have taken 4 times as long to do this much water with the system that we used when we were on the river. I'm going to experiment with different ways to squeeze this. It's got a pretty, I don't know if you can see that, get it all over me. It's got a pretty good flow coming out of it. I don't see any point in squeezing it too hard for fear that I have seen people say in their interviews that they ruptured these bladders. If it were me, and I'm probably going to make sure that when I go out with this and I'm relying on it, that I have something additional. Alright, there it is. Another 16 ounces of water. Alright, let's see how that tastes. Doesn't taste like iced tea, but it tastes like water. I don't notice any kind of aftertaste or bad taste at all. It's a good thing. I'm going to try one more thing. Don't know if it's going to work or not. Cap this back up here, and this may be messy. We'll see. I am going to take this and screw it on the top of a water bottle. See if a water bottle can be used for a squeeze bladder for it. Alright, don't want to over tighten it too much, but I do want to make sure it's snug enough up against that rubber hose gasket that's in there. We're going to try it this way. This may be messy. We'll see. Well, it's not leaking around where the bottle meets the Sawyer. And I'm squeezing it fairly hard. How big is this bottle? It is, let's see, 20 ounces. 20-ounce water bottle. And water bottles are so thin now, pretty easy to squeeze them. Probably also pretty easy to break them. But if you were in a pinch, this is doable. All right, I don't know how long we've been going there, but we've got this entire bottle filled up. I believe that's probably, I'm not sure. I will measure it and post how much, but it has got to be close to, I believe. Well, let's see. Got to be close to 32 ounces. I think that's very close to a quart of water there that I've gotten. And it hasn't taken us very long to do that. Of course, there's no backflow much, which is probably a good thing, but you see there's not really any air getting into that water bottle. All right. There it is. Okay, I'm going to try a couple things. This time, kind of ruins your water bottle, but that's all right. Enough water pressure would probably pop it back out. But now we know it doesn't leak when you do that. It works. Okay, so far, I'm impressed. We'll see. Now, the next thing I'm going to try is the straw. Again, you always know arrow points to the clean end. So let's see what happens if I take this and try to drink right out of this bottle. Okay? It's definitely easily doable. You could probably use this just like a life straw right out of a stream. So far, I'm impressed. All right. So the straw works. Now the next question is, now understand, this is a clean filter. We've only run a quart of water through it. Okay? So I'm going to see how well this works to back flush the filter. It does have a little screwy thing here. Now this should go on the clean end, so I don't really see how the threads could possibly help you. Just a second here. The end doesn't screw off. Okay, so this seems to be a little bit of a flaw to me. Yeah, that's a flaw. Especially if you don't put it over something that the water can flow through. But I may have to pull out the instructions and find out how this is supposed to work. I know that it's got a back flush through, but there is some leakage around the, there may be supposed to be some fitting, but if it is, it did not come with this. Alright, so that's something I'm going to have to go out to their website and see about, because that's messy. Does it flush back through? Yes, it does, but now we've got to find out how that is supposed to be done. Alright, so everything except for the back flush is beautiful. Let me see if it says on here how many. It says 0.1 microns absolute hollow fiber membrane water filter. Does it say how many gallons? Nah, it doesn't, but I will find out, because I'm not gonna, I don't want to break it. I'm trying to pull it apart to find out if there's a better way to back flush. And I don't want to stop the video again to go and check on how many gallons it is supposed to do. But as I recall, it seemed to me as if it would do enough to take you through many, many camping trips. As I recall, it was a vast number of gallons. And consider I rarely drink more than probably even, I don't know, I may underestimate how much I drink. I'm one of those people who doesn't drink enough, obviously. I probably drink in a normal day So 16 ounces of milk, probably about 16 ounces of tea, and about 16 ounces of water. So I'm probably at under 2 quarts a day of hydration. But, you know, I can do that for a long length of time. Now, if I was outside sweating, paddling, it's probably going to go up a good bit. But, you know, easily this would keep you alive, and it's far, far less annoying than that other filter we were using. And since the straw worked so nicely, I'm thinking that if I get the kit with the bite valve, I have one very stained old hydration bladder. It's about I think it's about a 2-liter bladder, as I recall, or a little more. It's a fairly big one. It was a Camelback, and I left iced tea in it once, and it really stained it. It's very ugly looking. It's been well cleaned since then, but it looks horrible. So it's going to be my experimental one. I've got about 3 or 4 bladders for different packs. One, a youth one, which is really small, for a child's pack, for the great-grandbaby who is now taller than me, and certainly needs more hydration than I do because she runs all the time. But I originally got that one for her little pack, and I have several packs with bladders in them. So that one I'm going to sacrifice to the next experiment, and I will let you know how that comes out. This I'm calling the Sawyer Mini a raging success. I always go out and I read all the negative comments on any product I buy. And there are some about the Sawyer Mini. Some that said, oh, it broke the first day I had it, or the bladder ruptured, or it cracked and fell apart, or it came broken. You know what? Manufacturing's that way. So I read all of the negative things, and then I look at the price and think, am I willing to take that risk? And at $20, I was willing to do that. There are a lot of people who will open up a new hammock or a new tent and say, this thing's amazing. I give it 4 stars, 5 stars, 6, 7 stars. And they haven't even, you know, really camped in it yet. Now, not everybody. But if somebody says, hey, I use this all summer, it's awesome. Or, you know, that kind of thing. Or I never go out without one of these in my pack. And you still don't know whether they've used it or not. But still, if they relate, you know, some really valid complaints, some products fail. And this one may fail on me at some point, but I'm going to use it hard and see how it does. At this point, for $20, it suits me fine. I don't go camping enough, or on overnight paddles enough, or primitive camping enough that water is an issue. Now, when I went on my overnight paddle, yes, it was an issue, and we were very lucky to have even that cumbersome water filter, because we did run out of water. 4 people on the river, sweating, hot. August, I think it was, this time of year last year. So I'm pleased. I give the Sawyer Mini a big thumbs up. I will look and see how many Briar's here. He would like to be in the video. You've never seen my other kitty. I'm not sure what he wants. He's a talker. What is it, Guy? He reached up and patted me on the arm. But that's Briar. Sunday's sleeping somewhere. She probably doesn't know I'm making a video. She's probably... No, there she is. She's right there. She said, what do you mean you're making a video without moi? Briar. Yeah. What do you think? She says she would never, never go primitive camping. Not her style. She just likes to make the occasional foray in the yard. There you go. So that's it for the Sawyer Mini. I thank you for joining me today, and the kitties, who Briar has never been on video before, so I'm really impressed. And Sunday was, turns out, lurking right down there on the carpet under the edge of the guest bed here in the spare bedroom. So she was listening, making sure I got it all right. When she heard her name, she leapt out. So thank you again for joining me here in East Tennessee. I want to let everybody know that I have a new roof now, I'm not going to have to shoot any videos in the cold, in the wind, up on the roof this winter. I promise. I'm not taking my video camera up there again. But I knew, that if you didn't see me up there, you might not realize that I am insane. I am. I'm a crazy woman. But it's always a pleasure. I love making videos for you. I'm going to do some more. I've got some kind of different ones done. This evening, I am getting my rock supplier, Eric Morris, who goes all over the country collecting nappable stone. It's coming through Knoxville. And so when he gets close, I'm going to meet him and buy some rock to break, which is one of my favorite things. Now I've just got to make some arrowheads. I've gotten into trying to learn to spall off nappable pieces of rock. And I've also found a fairly local flint napper or two that are going to give me some help learning how to turn non-slabs into arrowheads. Slabs are easy, but it's just, I want to know how to do all of the things. So I'm going to learn how to do it. And I heard once that a fellow say that he started out napping with like 3 55-gallon drums of raw stone, and by the next year he had reduced that to 3 5-gallon buckets of sort of what they call a biface, kind of your beginning piece that you would make an arrowhead out of. And I can't remember how many arrowheads he said he had out of, but I can certainly believe it because I've ruined a lot of rock. If you saw my video with Billy Berger and you see that he only leaves dust when he finishes with his arrows, he doesn't waste anything. And I have grown to really respect small arrowheads from him. It doesn't look like that under my bench. I will shoot a picture of what all the shards and rock and chunks and broken and ruined pieces of stone that are under my napping bench. But hey, that's another video. I start talking about rocks and I go on and on. But thank you for joining me for this Sawyer mini video. And like I said, I will let you know more when I get the adapter for the hydration bladder. And I will also write down how many gallons it's supposed to filter. It's a really mind-boggling number for such a tiny filter. Of course, it will have to periodically be backflush. So I am going to find out exactly how to do that without making a terrible mess. So thank you for joining me here, and I will be talking to you very shortly in another video. I think in my next video, maybe I'm going to do a Hogwarts style wand. I'll show you. It's going to be cool. You never know what I'm going to do next. Thanks for visiting. I appreciate every one of you. Goodbye from East Tennessee. Okay, I decided to go ahead and tell you what I have discovered about this. I went out online to see a video of someone backflushing this, like I just tried to do, and they did it just like I did it. Do it outside. It's a little messy. Does it work? Yes, it works just fine. Most of the water will backflush out the back end, but is some going to leak around here? Yeah, it's just you're holding a pressure fit against it. It doesn't screw on. It's not watertight. So when you're doing that, you're going to put some pressure against it, and either do it over a sink, a bathtub, or outside. It's a little on the messy side. Okay, but now, as they say on those infomercials, but wait! It turns out that this little filter, this 1995 filter, and I checked, it still sells for $19.95. It turns out that the data, the specs on it say that it will filter up to, I always know that up to thing is, that's a fudge factor, 100,000 gallons of water. And that's enough water for me to have a gallon of water a day for 270 years. Or family of 4 for about 67, 68 years. Or a village of 90 people, a gallon of water a day each for 3 years. So hey, it's good for a small village. You know, of course, pushing 90 gallons of water through this every day, they'd have to have someone in the village assigned to do that, I'm sure. But that's impressive. So, until I break it, lose it, if it lives up to its hype, I should never need another one. We'll see, after I've torture tested it, how well it continues to work. So this is something I will be getting back to you on. I appreciate your attention, and if you stayed all the way through my blathering at the end of the video, you have the extra information. So thank you so much for staying with me. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.